Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
We are 5 days away from knowing who the Heisman Trophy winner is. And the Diego Pavia propaganda machine is whirling. I received a care package from Vanderbilt University earlier today, Blake. It actually made its way to this radio station. They shipped it to the station in my name. And contained within this Diego Pavia propaganda package was, not surprisingly, a lot of Diego Pavia propaganda. Couple T-shirts, a lanyard, a very professionally presented packet outlining all the data, all of the reasons why Diego Pavia should be my Heisman Trophy pick. Unfortunately, the propaganda package arrived a little bit too late because I already cast my vote as of yesterday evening. Now, I cannot say whether I cast it in favor of Diego Pavia or someone else, but one way or another we're going to know this coming Saturday whether it will be Pavia or more than likely Fernando Mendoza who wins the Heisman. It's going to be one of those two, it would appear, Blake, and that's going to be a real program changer for either Vanderbilt or Indiana. Two football institutions that have very little success historically and precious few individual greats to tout. Fernando Mendoza and Diego Pavia, in no small part, are at the forefront of the Heisman race because of how much they have changed their respective programs.
Well, wait, what happened to Tate Sandell?
Unfortunately, it looks like Tate Sandell's spirited bid is going to come up slightly short, although I do expect him to win the Grozon.
As short as his pant leg choice on a Saturday in the fall, or?
Yeah, not quite that short. But it is Blake Gamble in for Grayson Singleton today. As I understand it, young Mr. Singleton has lost his voice. So hopefully he finds it by tomorrow. But is this hour number 4 of radio for you today? Is that what this would be?
No, just hour 1. So
oh, really? You didn't have to do the Plank Show this morning?
No. Are you not familiar with TJ's back?
Really?
Yeah, breaking news.
I'm out of the loop on so much around here. Well, there you go.
But yeah, Grayson's voice recovering, a big voice to recover. So I think he'll be back tomorrow, though.
Okay. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to chime in. Additionally, want to remind you all up front that the show is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. If you're in the market for a new vehicle this holiday season, well, you need to head out to Dorsey Jones. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and Dorsey Jones pairs that with outstanding service, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. We appreciate Dorsey Jones and their partnership here on Locked In. And Blake, it's a dang good time to be a Sooner fan right now. Oklahoma is in the college football playoff field for the first time since 2019. They're going to host a home playoff game for the first time in school history. And, oh, by the way, things are hot on the recruiting trail right now for the Sooners. They are hot.
Man, momentum, such a very real and palpable thing right now. And just like you said, it feels like it's 5, 10, 15, 25 years ago, dare I say, once again in Norman, OK. Things are really heating up, and it's a perfect time to do it right now.
A 405 listener says, are we sure Grayson isn't in Stillwater welcoming a new football coach?
He's right across the hallway.
Allegedly. Are we sure he's right across the hallway? Eric Morris is being officially introduced today. He might be playing hooky. We may never know. All right, folks, let's dig in to all things OU recruiting, as we do during the 2 o'clock hour every single day here on Locked In. And let's start with another brand new commitment for Oklahoma in the 2027 cycle. Feels like every single week, if not more frequently than that lately, we are talking up another 2027 commit for Oklahoma. And such is the case today, Blake, with the recent addition. Yesterday afternoon, less than 24 hours ago, Oklahoma picked up a commitment from four-star defensive tackle Elija Harmon out of Inglewood, California, beating out USC, beating out Nebraska, beating out Oregon, and many others for his services. Huge recruiting win for Oklahoma in a state in which they have made a substantial foray in the 2027 cycle and are having a lot of early success.
Inglewood, that's a place that's right in the backyard of a certain college football program, and the fact that he doesn't want to stick around and play there and instead decides, I want to play my college football in Norman, Oklahoma, that's somewhat telling. What a win for Todd Bates. That program that is really anchoring itself in the lines, in the trenches, specifically defensively. And watching some of his tape, he's an impressive guy, and it's not just his physicality. He gets by O-linemen consistently, almost every single play in an instant because of his great handwork. He is just constantly moving a guy out of the way. Sure, you need strength to do that, but in so many different ways. Moving to the left, moving to the right. Doesn't matter if you get your hands on him and are able to. Goodbye. He's past you in an instance.
I'm really not sure how the math is mathing here, but Oklahoma, with the addition of Elija Harmon, does not move at all in the 2027 team rankings, according to Rivals.com. They are still second behind Texas Tech, despite the fact that Oklahoma has 11 total commits in the 2027 class compared to Texas Tech's 5, and they have 6 blue-chip commits, i.e. 4- and 5-star players, as opposed to Texas Tech's 4. So I don't claim to be a math whiz, Blake Gamble. That's why I do what I do professionally, is because it doesn't require any application of mathematical skills and or knowledge. But it would seem apparent that if we're just shooting from the hip, if we're just going off the culmination of the collective data here, Oklahoma has the best 2027 class in the nation right now in terms of both quality and quantity. Somehow Texas Tech still technically sits at number 1, but in quality and in quantity, there's no other school that has more than 8 commits in the 27 class right now. Oklahoma has 11 of them. And this is without a quarterback in the fold as well.
Right. And you assume that when you pick up a quarterback, the quality numbers are certainly going to skyrocket. Typically, quarterbacks rank so highly that is a place where you can boost your overall ranking by picking up that commitment. One last note about Muleshoe's program out west. They are a program that is notorious for picking up a large quantity of commits.
Yes.
And, whether they're actually there on signing day or not, that's something we've seen, not always the case. Certainly not always the case a year later or 2 years later. And what you like to see out of this class so far, like you said, both quantity and quality thus far. And you can just see, again, the trajectory going in the right direction here in year 4, year 5, here coming around the corner for BV and his staff.
A 405 listener says, someone said until next year sometime, the rating sites only factor the top recruit or maybe the top few. I thought I heard that on this station. That may be the case. I don't know what all goes into the calculus. All I know is Oklahoma, in my eyes, and in a lot of people's eyes, pretty clearly has the best 2027 class in the country as of right now. 757 listener says, someone told me that they use the average number of commits around the country, which is 2 currently in 2027, and then they average the best 2 commits. So the best 2 commits to Tech are better than the best 2 commits to OU. Okay, that would make some sense. Ty from Norman, seems under BV's tenure we recruit a ton of defensive talent, and they work out. Offensively, feels like we don't recruit the same stature, body size, athleticism, etc. When will OU be back on offense? That's an interesting question, Blake, and we have in the past noted on this show that there's a pretty vast discrepancy between the number of homegrown starters, i.e. guys that were recruited and developed straight out of the high school ranks at Oklahoma on the defensive side of the ball compared to the offensive side of the ball. I will say I think you're going to see that gap start to close in the coming years, and that really has been due primarily to instability up front with the offensive line and injuries to certain guys. Jake Sexton comes to mind, right? Troy Everett comes to mind, even though he himself was a transfer. But it's just been such a revolving door in terms of the personnel, the cast of characters on the offensive line. And you can kind of say the same for the wide receiver room. Oklahoma had 6 wide receivers hurt for a large chunk of the 2024 season, and then they had 6 wide receivers transfer at season's end. So, look, it's not ideal. Nothing about the 2024 season was ideal. Oklahoma is still, I guess you would say, paying the price, or I guess feeling the ongoing ramifications of the 2024 season. But there's going to come a point in time at which that number starts to get a lot closer, and Oklahoma's percentage of homegrown talent on the offensive side of the ball starts to catch up to the defensive side.
And typically, on the offensive side especially, what's the position that once you get their commitment is the one that can help peer recruit the most? It's the quarterback position, right?
Mm-hmm.
And quarterback is also a position that, well, the quarterback of the future in Norman has been a bit of a rotating door. You've seen guys transfer out. It hasn't worked out as well, and you've gone the way of the portal consistently. And so guys that have become really good friends with the quarterback have maybe been persuaded to come to OU in part because of a guy that was in their class decide, you know what, didn't work out with him. I don't know this new guy. I don't know if things are going to be as good here. They get an offer that's enticing, maybe a chance for more production or other reasons, whatever it may be. Why not go to greener pastures, or at least what's being sold to him is that. And, you know, if you get a guy to come in like a Bo Bentley, and here in a couple of years he gets his opportunity and it really looks like he's going to be a secure quarterback for a couple of seasons, that could make a huge difference too. I know people want it to be better now. Certainly it would be nice if it's better a couple Fridays from now, you know, the offense. But, you know, consistency takes some time to build. It took some time for this defense. It's going to take a little bit of time for this offense as well.
And another factor that I was foolish not to mention, as several have noted on the text line, Oklahoma's had 4 different offensive coordinators in the Brent Venables era.
That's a great point.
So I think part of the appeal in hiring Ben Arbuckle was the understanding that, okay, this guy's got some OU DNA, even if he didn't play here, even if he hasn't coached here. This is a guy that grew up with a strong admiration for OU football out in the Texas Panhandle, where I believe if OU isn't closer geographically to where he grew up than Lubbock, Texas is, it's pretty close. And so OU, for all intents and purposes, was the closest big-time college football program to Ben Arbuckle's hometown. I don't think Texas Tech qualifies as a big-time football program yet, even though they are trending in that direction behind all of the money from Double Eagle Energy that has gone into assembling their roster.
No offense, billionaires.
Denver from Indiana says, I listened to the OK Breakdown. They had Nagy on. I will never, ever, ever question recruiting again. Fired me up. And yeah, I think it's easy to find yourself drinking the Jim Nagy Kool-Aid a little bit when you look at what Oklahoma's already assembled in the 2027 class, and a class that is really the culmination of everything finally aligning for Oklahoma in terms of structure on the staff and at the front office level, culture with things like the soul mission and the strong interpersonal style of leadership that exists within the hierarchy at Oklahoma, the ability to be competitive in the NIL market, and then the last cog that had to fall into place for this program, Blake, was winning. And here we are, and they're winning. And that's been the catalyst.
How big of a difference do you think is it, and maybe this is a conversation for a later segment, but how big of a difference is it to being a team that's hosting a first-round playoff game, actually in the college football playoffs, and a 10-win team that's one of the first teams out. Can you even calculate that? That's massive, right?
I'll say this, man. They don't get to host any recruits when Alabama comes to town next Friday. But make no mistake, there are going to be a lot of eyes on Oklahoma football that day amongst the blue-chip recruits in the 2027 cycle and even the cycles below them, 28, 29, guys that already have OU on their radar, guys that are already on OU's radar. And if the Sooners can go and beat Alabama for the third time in 13 months and set up a showdown with Indiana in the Rose Bowl, the momentum is going to continue to accumulate, even more so than it already has for a program that is recruiting really, really well here early in the 2027 cycle. All right, folks, hit us up on the text line, 405-651-3439. More of your texts, more recruiting nuggets, and, of course, 0 days since our last nonsense. Coming up next. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. You're listening to Locked In.
Hey, this is Michael Vasucci. You listen to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
What are you doing out there?
Come on!
I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you. Up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. Well, let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game, our game. So please, let us play.
School sports fans, remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Oklahoma.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
I'm your football-obsessed best man.
Physically, I'm right here. But mentally, I'm here. Yeah, I do. Come on, speed it up. When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. Whoa! Touchdown, yeah! And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this could be tough to tackle. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Call Josh Nelson, Allstate Insurance Agency, 405-360-9500 to be protected from mayhem.
I'm Oklahoma Sooner quarterback John Mateer. My job is to move the ball down the field and get the Sooners across the goal line. If you've been injured in an auto accident, you need a pro to be the quarterback of your medical care needs. Dr. Martin Lopez and the OKC Car Crash Clinic are your premier teammates to help you on your road to recovery. Dr. Lopez is a specialty trained MD with decades of experience. Make your best play call and contact Dr. Lopez at 405-86-CRASH. That's 405-862-7274 or visit okccrash.com.
At Cavender Ford of OKC, we believe in more than just selling cars. We believe in building relationships based on trust, transparency, and treating you like family. For more than 80 years, the Cavender Auto family has built our business on these simple, important values. We call it doing things the Cavender way. Cavender Ford of OKC would like to welcome all Putnam City Schools, parents, students, faculty, and staff to visit us at 7320 Northwest Expressway. Confidence is Cavender.
The Oaks at Mustang is coming soon to Mustang, conveniently located on County Line Road and the Turnpike in Mustang. The Oaks will have spacious 1- and 2-bedroom apartments with large walk-in closets, package lockers, and even a sparkling pool. The Oaks is pre-leasing for October 25, so don't wait. Contact the Oaks at Mustang on their website, theoaksatmustang.com, to be where everyone will want to be. The Oaks at Mustang, pre-leasing in October, theoaksatmustang.com.
Looking for a better way to bank? Join OU Federal Credit Union and experience the difference. If you are tired of hidden fees and impersonal service at your big bank, well, you deserve better, and that's what you'll find at OU Federal Credit Union. They offer competitive rates on loans and savings accounts. Plus, they're a local member-owned institution. Join OU Federal Credit Union today and discover the benefits of being a part of a community that cares. Visit OUFCU.com or stop by the branches today. Member savings insured up to $250,000 by NCUA.
The Mont invites you to come by and enjoy our high-quality food and drinks in our historic atmosphere. The Mont has won numerous awards, including Best Restaurant in Norman, Best Appetizer for our great queso, Best Exotic Drink for the original swirl, the Best Patio Dining for our beautifully landscaped patio. Come see the Town Tavern OU football scoreboards dating back to 1947. We'll see you at the Mont on the corner of Boyd and Classen, or call us at 329-3330.
Parker Thune, Blake Gamble in studio here today with Locked In. Grayson Singleton is out. We hope his voice is back tomorrow, as he's a little bit under the weather for the time being. But if you want to chime in via the text line, go right ahead and do so, 405-651-3439. Oklahoma already has 2 running back commits in the 2027 cycle, Blake, which they're both good players. Don't get me wrong. Jackson Stokes from the state of California, Keldred Ben from the state of Texas. But man, if Oklahoma didn't already have 2 running backs committed, I feel like the Sooners would be starting to take a hard look at the kid up the road at Carl Albert. You familiar with Elija Matthews?
I became familiar with him this weekend, breaking X's recent record of total touchdowns, all the yards he carried for, Gatorade Player of the Year as well. And, yeah, saw some clips. Seems like a guy that, not too different from X, and he's hard to bring down, but he's got some speed too.
I mean, these stats are bonkers, brother. 2,033 yards rushing in the 2025 season, 44 touchdowns. 44 touchdowns.
Is that good?
How many games do they play in the season? 14, 15?
Yeah.
So he's averaging 3 touchdowns a game is essentially what that amounts to. He had a punt return for a touchdown. He threw for 3 touchdowns as well. So 48 total touchdowns for Elija Matthews. He only has G5 offers right now. It was the winter after Xavier Robinson's junior season that he started to pick up major P4 attention. I feel like the same is probably coming for Elija Matthews.
You know what I just thought of?
What's that?
There was a great quote by Coach Venables after a game not too terribly long ago about that's how kids from Carl Albert are. Just hard-nosed, and he was referring to the running back on campus, but at the time I said, if I'm anywhere near the campus of Carl Albert, if I'm a decision maker there, I'm putting that quote on a billboard and hanging it as close to the football stadium as I can. Could that possibly have not only been praised for a current running back, but a little shout-out to someone nearby?
Maybe they can find some space for Elija Matthews in the 27 class, man, because obviously the scholarship number is going up from 85 to 105, so that's going to affect the roster calculus a little bit. That creates, in essence, 2 more scholarships at every position across the board, more or less, so...
Originally, I thought you were talking about someone via the portal, because there's another kid that played high school football in state that's having a really good season.
That he is, but odds are he's probably going to be an Oklahoma State Cowboy, right? You'd think?
It would make sense.
Caleb Hawkins, of course, star running back at North Texas that had a sensational true freshman season for the Mean Green. Sensational. But his head coach, Eric Morris, is, of course, the new head man in Stillwater. Grayson's there for his official announcement as head coach this afternoon. And, yes, it would – I would think it quite likely that Caleb Hawkins is going to be following Eric Morris to Oklahoma State because, at least with regard to my understanding of the situation, Blake, Caleb Hawkins likes being the guy, and he has been the guy at North Texas. He can go to Oklahoma State and be the guy at the P4 level. He comes to Oklahoma, he'll be a guy, but in DeMarco Murray's room, there's almost never the guy. The only exception we've ever seen was, of course, Eric Gray in 2022 when he rushed for, over 1,300 yards that season?
You got to earn it, and you got to keep earning it in every single way, every single week. And that makes a lot of sense. Follow your coach. It's working well for you so far. Think the same for the quarterback there, also a true freshman?
Oh, yeah. Mestemaker, he's a redshirt freshman. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, poke, right? Don't really feel like you got to overthink that one. Eric Morris found him. Eric Morris developed him. Eric Morris is going to reap the benefits of his play at Oklahoma State in 2026. I would be stunned if Drew Mestamaker goes anywhere else once he gets in the portal. I think he will probably have a do not contact tag when he gets in. We started to see those crop up last year, right? Was it last year or the year before where we started to see the phenomenon of the do not contact tag, which basically means I know exactly where I'm going. Don't try to change my mind.
Yeah, kind of like the old NBA or NFL free agency thing where it's like, it just now opened and all of a sudden 50,000 deals have already been negotiated. How did this happen?
Imagine that. A 405 listener says they need to be recruiting Jimmy Wilkerson's kid from Carl Albert. He's just a freshman. Yeah, Jax Wilkerson, absolute mountain of a human being.
OUDNA, too.
That will be a dude that Oklahoma is after in the years ahead. No question about it. Fortunately, he does have OU DNA. The Sooners aren't in a position where they need to offer him tomorrow to be able to land him. He's a 2029 kid, so that's still a ways down the road. Don't really got to rush that one. But, yeah, no, they'll be coming for Jax Wilkerson. Spartan Sooner says, Parker, did you get to see your Bigsby Spartans win another state title? I did see that over the weekend. He said, also, we need a Bigsby versus Carl Albert game badly. I'm sorry, man. And I know Spartan Sooner will agree with me on this. I'm taking Bigsby over anybody by double digits at that. They're a machine, man.
The Massey ratings say they're the #1 high school football team in America. Mm-hmm. And from every time I've seen them play, it's hard to disagree with that. I do like the idea, however, of some sort of promotion relegation system because I think Carl Albert can compete with just about anybody else in 6A.
Yeah, they're an awesome program, an excellent program that has seen a lot of talent come through those doors over the last several years. By the way, can you cue up our circus music? Can you go find the circus music on YouTube? Because we're going to need it for 0 days since our last nonsense. In the meantime, U.S. Army Sooner with a clarifying question about the phenomenon of visits during the college football playoff. He wanted to know, when you say they can't host, Parker, is that official only or both official and unofficial? They cannot host official visitors. They cannot host unofficial visitors. They cannot host any visitors, period, because the month of December is a dead period. And what that means is recruits, if they want to show up to the game and buy a ticket, they can do that. But save for that, they cannot attend. They cannot attend as guests of the program. They cannot have any contact with staff while on campus.
Why are you winking so much?
Am I winking?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
We're on YouTube, so that old radio trick doesn't work.
No, it really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. Hey, okay, time for 0 days since our last nonsense. I'm going to have some fun with this one. Everybody saw this. I would hope everybody knows where I'm going here. December 7th, 2025. As a team, we've decided to withdraw our name from consideration for a bowl game following the 2025 season. We appreciate all the support from our families and fans, and we're hoping to bring the 12th national title to South Bend in 2026. Signed, the 2025 Notre Dame football team. Weak! I haven't gotten your thoughts yet on this, Blake Gamble. I'll tell you what my thoughts are. No, keep the circus music up. We're not fading the circus music out. We're not letting Notre Dame off that easy. That is peak, I'm taking my ball and going home energy, is what that is. You're the number 11 team in the country with an opportunity to go play. I believe it was the Pop-Tarts Bowl, right? They denied an invite to the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Which has become the most prestigious non-college football playoff bowl there is. Are you kidding me? I would go to that game in a heartbeat. Outside of the Rose Bowl, send me to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Actually, maybe even ahead of the Rose Bowl, honestly.
And I forgot who put this on Twitter, but somebody said something to the effect of, the Pop-Tarts mascot getting killed and then brought back to life and eaten is basically the essence of Catholicism, right? Matches perfectly with Notre Dame as an institution. Tongue-in-cheek, obviously, no one get offended. This is sports radio. But Notre Dame coming out within like 2 hours of getting snubbed for the playoff and basically saying, nope, we're not doing bowl season. Forget it. We're calling it. We're moving on to the offseason. Like, there is no competitive spirit there. Because here's the thing. Playing in a bowl game means you get another 15 practices leading up to that bowl game. You would think, right? You would think Marcus Freeman and that Notre Dame staff would have every desire to go practice 15 times at the very least and get what they can out of that with their football team before they head into the offseason. Regardless of what the outcome in the bowl game is, like, honestly, you could play second and third stringers and, whatever happens, happens. But those 15 practices, those are invaluable. And you're just going to cast them to the side because you're upset that Miami leapfrogged you, as they probably should have on Selection Sunday? I'm sorry, Blake, I kind of went on a rant there. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
You're
Please
good.
go off.
You're good. You're preaching to the choir here. First off, were you hearing all of the circus music there? Because for a second, I swore it turned into college football fight music.
I know.
And it sounded a little bit like Notre Dame for a little bit. Did we find something there? Did we stumble into it? No. You're exactly right. They're taking their football. They're going home. And it's so entitled. You want to play. You want to get treated like the rest of us. Then join a conference like the rest of us. It's 2025. You've had tradition for years, and that's great. But the game has changed so much, okay? It's over. Rudy is no more. Touchdown Jesus is cool, sure. But he can't save you. Take the Pop-Tart Bowl if that's what you get, and enjoy it, okay? Because it's a treat. It's a treat, and you're ruining it.
Another banger of a tweet that I saw over the weekend, and I wish I could give the proper credit to whoever tweeted it, was that the worst thing about the expanded playoff era is that it's enabled a bunch of 10-2 and 9-3 teams to act like they're 2003 USC getting left out of the BCS. No, and here's the thing. I thought Notre Dame should have been in the field. I would have had Notre Dame over both Miami and Alabama. Based on the committee's criteria, it made sense that Miami jumped to Notre Dame because of the head-to-head result. But I think Notre Dame is a better football team than both Miami and Alabama. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to sit here and pound the table for Notre Dame and go to war on behalf of the Fighting Irish, because they had their chances. They had opportunities to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. They didn't control the controllables. You knew when you looked at that Notre Dame schedule preseason that team had to get a marquee win in the first 2 weeks of the season against either Miami or Texas A&M. Because if they didn't, there might not be an opportunity for another marquee win the remainder of the year for the Fighting Irish. And so if they went 0-2, they could go undefeated the rest of the way, but there would be no sure things on Selection Sunday because they wouldn't have a signature win on their resume. And what did Notre Dame do? They lost to Miami. They lost to Texas A&M. You win one of those two games. They lost to Miami by 3. They lost to Texas A&M by 1. I think those two games proved that Notre Dame can play with the best of the best. And again, I find those two losses much more excusable than Miami's 2 losses or Alabama's 2 losses. But if you're the Fighting Irish, you can't really be mad at the outcome when you left your fate in the committee's hands. And the fact that at the end of it all, you're just going to say, yeah, we're not playing in a bowl game, forget it, we're done. That's such a weak course of action.
It is. It is. And I'm a little disappointed that they're not in. The way they've responded has kind of erased all that. It would have been nice to see them come to Norman. That would be a classic matchup. At the end of the day, who cares? The Sooners are hosting a college football playoff game. That's awesome enough as it is. But to have those two storied programs with the history, all the hate that has been there for years, for generations, that would have been something really special. Instead, you got Alabama, and yeah, you know what? It's almost like a game of horse where you got to double down at the end and prove it that what you did before was not a fluke. You got to prove it to the committee. You got to prove it to the rest of the country that what you did on the road, you can do once again. And this time, you get to do it at home. But one final thing on Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for years, they've tried to claim something that's not theirs. And Friday night, their whole fan base gets to touch a little sign that says, sit on your couch like a champion today.
Oh, Notre Dame. Oh, Fighting Irish. I'm so disappointed, man. I'm disappointed for college football because you know what kind of precedent this sets. This is not like a 6-6 or a 5-7 team declining a bowl bid. It's not like this is Baylor who went 6-6 declining to participate in a bowl because they want to get a jump start on retention and the portal. This is a 10-2 football team that there would have been a lot of eyes on in bowl season, but I think this tells you all you need to know about where college football is headed and where the traditional bowl structure is headed. There's going to be substantial sweeping change in the next few years because of the precedent that a decision like this from the Fighting Irish sets. What this communicates is that the biggest programs in college football essentially regard bowl games that aren't P4 bowl games as meaningless. Maybe not all of them. Maybe not all of them right now. But in much the same way that like Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey opting out of bowl games as individuals circa, 14, 15, 16, created an enormous trend across the sport, I think this is going to create a similar chain reaction. And I hate it because I love sitting at home during the holiday season and just watching bowl games. I don't care if it's Miami of Ohio versus Appalachian State in the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl. I'll watch it. Who among us won't? It's college football. And the last thing I'll say with regard to Notre Dame here is that I think the message that was sent by the committee yesterday was very clear. Hey, join a conference. You want to have a chance to play yourself off the bubble on conference championship week instead of waiting, sitting on your hands, hoping the dominoes fall your way? Join a conference. At that point, the decision is no longer solely in our hands. You have the opportunity to impact the decision at the last possible juncture before we make our decisions on Sunday morning as to who's going to be in the 12-team playoff field and who won't. All right, folks, 405-651-3439 is the text line. One final segment of Locked In is on deck. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Hey, Sooner Nation, Coach Stoops here. You're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Looking for the ultimate Christmas gift? Surprise your family with a brand new pool from Signature Custom Pools. Imagine celebrating next spring with laughter, splashes, and unforgettable memories right in your own backyard. Their experienced designers will work with you to create the perfect pool built with top quality materials and craftsmanship. Call Signature Custom Pools today for your free consultation at 405-898-9098 or visit signaturecustompools.com. Signature Custom Pools, where memories begin.
Oh, Santa. You know that Christmas list Mrs. Claus gave you? The one with all the practical gift ideas? Well, fold it neatly and toss it. Then go directly to Lewis Jewelers and ask to see a pair of diamond solitaire earrings. They are, after all, very practical. She can wear them with anything, anywhere. They're also very romantic. Lewis Jewelers has a sensational selection from a quarter carat to a carat or more. Our diamond solitaires are incredibly brilliant and of the highest quality. Come Christmas morning, she's going to be thrilled. And oh, when you see our prices, you're going to be thrilled. Our best diamond prices ever mean this is one practical and romantic gift you can easily give. This is Tim Lewis, and no one does diamonds for Christmas like Lewis Jewelers. We're on I-35 and more, just south of 19th Street. We work harder to be your jeweler. Wouldn't you rather say, it came from Lewis Jewelers?
Wrap up your year with good times and great rewards.
Because Riverwind is OKC's best casino.
Feel the thunder when you play your best hand yet.
Catch your favorite entertainment at the Showplace Theater.
And enjoy the gift that keeps on giving when you use your wild card.
Every Friday in December, join us for your share of our $80,000 Winter Wishes giveaway.
Make your season brighter at your favorite place to play.
And happy holidays from Riverwind Casino.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it making more money. Spend it making more memories. Spend it learning a new skill. Spend it teaching an old trick. Spend it career climbing. Spend it mountain climbing. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
At Confidence Ford of Norman, we believe in living up to our name. Our commitment to confidence is in everything we do. Whether you're searching for the perfect vehicle from our extensive selection of new Ford models or pre-owned cars, our dedicated team will help you every step of the way. Because with us, you're family. We're conveniently located at 825 North Interstate Drive. Confidence Ford of Norman, a Cavender Auto family dealership, where confidence is Cavender.
Are pests invading your home? Call Avenge Pest Control now and get your initial pest control service at half price. Avenge Pest Control is a family-owned and operated company, proudly serving the entire Oklahoma City metro area, Enid, Ardmore, and the Durant-Texoma area. They take care of all of our pest control needs here at the Ref, and they offer free termite inspections and comprehensive services. With mice and rat season upon us, don't wait. Protect your home today. Get more info at AvengePestControl.com or call 405-693-2233. Avenge Pest Control.
Real ID, title transfers, registration renewals. We do it all at Fusen Tag Title and License. Fast, professional service provided on behalf of Service Oklahoma. From IDs to vehicle titles, we are your full-service stop with a smile. Visit FusenTag.com for online services. Questions? Call 405-364-1151. Open 6 days a week. At Fusen Tag Agency, we make Real ID real easy. Located off of I-35 and Robinson in Norman.
Is nothing sacred anymore in this sport? I just opened Twitter to the news that Ahmad Bro is transferring from LSU. Ahmad Bro is a defensive lineman who spells his last name Breaux. Like, no, this man is nothing if not an LSU Tiger. He should not be allowed to transfer. His paperwork should be frozen.
May he please transfer to one school and one school only. May he be a Ragin' Cajun.
Either that or Louisiana Monroe Warhawk. You have to stay in state, buddy. Sorry. Get ready to learn McNeese. Options are very limited down there in the boot.
How would a bro do in a place like Minnesota?
Yeah, it's not a culture fit for me.
Would need a translator.
By the way, Clark Lee, Vanderbilt's head football coach, was asked earlier today if his team considered declining a bowl invitation a la those pansies in South Bend, Indiana. His answer was, no, we love playing football here. Amen, Clark Lee. Amen. This is why that man has Vanderbilt soaring to heights that they have never before soared to as a program. That is a football guy. I thought Marcus Freeman was a football guy. I might have been wrong.
Still got a 5-star quarterback coming in, right? Bandy?
That is true. Flipped Jared Curtis from Georgia down the stretch. Huge win on the trail for them. He's probably going to be their starter as a true freshman. I guess I could see a world in which they took a one-year portal bridge guy, but Jared Curtis is going to be in the mix for that job as a freshman, no doubt about it. Also, a couple snippets from Eric Morris's introductory press conference.
Grayson got those to you?
Which Grayson got to us live from Stillwater just moments ago. He, when talking about his track record with quarterbacks, he said, and I quote, "If I take a 3-star quarterback, nobody get mad at me." That dude gets it. That dude understands what he's getting himself into, making the jump to the P4 level. It is kind of wild to think that the guy who identified and recruited and ultimately landed John Mateer is now the head football coach at your in-state rival. Now, regarding that in-state rivalry, Eric Morris was asked his thoughts on potentially bringing back the Bedlam series. Here's what he said, quote, "I'd love to get on the phone with anybody that we know that could help us bring that game back. If they're asking if Coach Morris welcomes that game, I'd welcome it with open arms." Well, sounds like an olive branch has been extended, which is good because it didn't really feel like from the Stillwater end that olive branch existed in the latter days of the Mike Gundy era at Oklahoma State. Felt like Gundy held Oklahoma responsible for the long-term cancellation of that series. But Eric Morris seems like a guy that's willing to make it happen. And we know Brent Venables is a guy that's willing to make it happen.
Gundy was looking for anyone and everyone to blame for anything and everything down the stretch over the last several seasons. And, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe Morris reaches out and maybe someone here, there's going to be a regime change as well in the athletic department. And maybe in a few years we see Bedlam football returning in some capacity. I don't know if it'll be a every year home and away thing. Obviously, the SEC has their new annual opponents for 4 years fairly locked in. You know, everyone's really excited about playing Ole Miss the next 4 seasons or 3 seasons. Did this year count? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know that. I don't think this year counted.
Regardless, I think people were trying to start something up, and with Lane Kiffin's departure, the lack of excitement somehow decreased even more. So Bedlam would be, I don't know. I feel like every time we bring this up, our texters typically say, who cares? We don't need them. We've moved on. I think if you brought it back, it would be something different.
I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun to bring Bedlam back. I don't think there's any downside from the Oklahoma end. If you got Oklahoma State on the schedule every single year in non-conference, well, more often than not, that's going to be an extra Power 4 win under your belt with how lopsided that rivalry has been historically. And it's something for all the good folks of the state of Oklahoma to unite around. By the way, we did find out over the weekend that Jackson Arnold is going to enter the transfer portal again. What do you think? Where's your crystal ball? Where do you think Jackson Arnold's next destination is?
Oh, gosh. Is UCO in need of a quarterback? I know they're pretty talented. They're good at developing future Division I players. Gosh, I don't know. Ironically, a school like a North Texas would make sense, but some of the smaller schools that have had good offenses over the years like guys that can throw the football.
I'll say this, and there are a myriad of reasons why this will never happen, but I think the best course of action for Jackson Arnold would be to go somewhere and sit a year. Take a year off, man. Spend a year running scout team. Spend a year getting real intimately familiar with the nuances of a certain system and playbook, and just allow yourself time to mentally recalibrate, because it feels like that's what he needs, right? And Jackson Arnold was a guy that, despite his follies on the gridiron, did so much good for the University of Oklahoma, especially when it came to recruiting that 2023 class around him. And I know not everyone feels this way. I hope he has success. I hope he has success at a certain point. I hope he can close his collegiate career with a flourish. And if that's going to happen, I think he probably just needs to go somewhere and sit for a year. The Dante Moore experience, if you will.
Worked out for
him.
him.
The Dante Moore route. That's exactly what he did. He started as a true freshman at UCLA, transferred to Oregon, and sat a year behind Dylan Gabriel. And look at where he is today. In his first year as the starter at Oregon, he has that team hosting a first-round college football playoff matchup.
Not too terribly long ago, there was a Big 12 quarterback that wasn't a prolific passer. And he just became the head coach once again at his alma mater, Colin Klein.
Mm-hmm.
Could Jackson Arnold go to a Kansas State and learn under a system that has obviously been working? Marcel Reed, not really known for his great passing, but he's certainly developed and gotten better. I don't know. That seems like a place, again, you're going to have to develop. You're going to have to learn a system. Probably best to sit out a year. But that's a place I would be reaching out to.
I like that. I hadn't considered that, but I like that. Kansas State and Jackson Arnold could be a decent match. I've been under the impression he's going to go G5 if he wants to play right away, but there's got to be some P4 coach, and I know we have coaches that listen to this show, not just at the University of Oklahoma, but elsewhere. I don't know if any of them are listening today, but hey, if you're a P4 coach out there, am I crazy? Does it not make some sense to take Jackson Arnold out of the portal and maybe stash him for a year? Tell him, hey, dude, you're going to lay low. You're going to lay low for a year. And your year is going to be 2027. It would have to be a situation that is ideally set up for that. The type of program that already has a graduating senior starter, a guy that's not going to be around more than a year into the future, and probably a program that doesn't have a ton of young depth at the quarterback position such that you're not scaring off any up-and-comers by bringing in an heir in waiting, as it were, in Jackson Arnold.
He's already got the bag a couple times over, so that sales pitch makes sense.
Yes. A 580 listener says, was kind of disappointed yesterday that no one asked BV about the guys who had been sitting out to keep a year of eligibility but could play in the bowl game. Any news there? Also, Kobe McKenzie made a post on Twitter saying, thank you, Sooner Nation, which sounded like he may be finished playing at OU. Any news on that front? No, there is no news. And if I had been allowed a second question to Brent Venables, that's exactly what I had intended to ask about. He only had so much time on the Zoom yesterday. And we are going to get other opportunities to chat with Coach Venables prior to the playoff matchup against Alabama, you would think. And if not, we're certainly going to get to talk to him after the matchup against Alabama. So we will get clarity on the Kendall Dolby situation, on the Javante Barnes situation. And then with regard to the portal, we're probably just all going to have to wait till whenever Oklahoma's playoff run is over, or January 2nd, whichever comes first, to get some real clarity on who's leaving and who's not. Because let's be honest, Blake, I don't think anybody, regardless of whether they have any intent to remain at Oklahoma or not, I don't think anybody in that locker room is going to be too terribly eager to bail on this program and announce that they're getting in the transfer portal right now when you're staring down the barrel at a potential CFP run here. A very plausible situation in which you beat Alabama, you upend Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Man, it's a 2-game sprint to the finish line at that point, and you could be part of a national championship resurgence at Oklahoma.
You work all year to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Why not wait until the deadline forces you to make a decision and enjoy what is here? And it's something that I know a ton of fans are going to be enjoying as well.
Brian Bixby says, let's be honest, the Big 12 is a G5 conference. Oh, some Big 12 shade on the way out the door. I will say this, folks. I will say this as we wrap up. I think Texas Tech has a pretty dang good football program. I think Texas Tech may cause some problems in the CFP field. Do I think they're capable of going all the way? Probably not. But I don't know that there's a single team in this field outside of the G5 representatives that I'd say, oh, yeah, there's no way they're making it all the way to the national championship game. Texas Tech's got it cooking a little bit. Watching that team, that rematch against BYU over the weekend, yeah, that's a talented operation. It's the best Texas Tech football team I've ever seen with my own two eyes. Blake, thanks for hanging, man.
It's been fun. Thanks, Parker.
Grayson will be back tomorrow, and Locked In will be back tomorrow. Until then, we bid you adieu. The Rush is next. Tyler McComas, Teddy Lehman on the other side. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Keep it right here.